This is a video I wanted to do for a couple days now. This video is entitled, "There Should Be No Billionaires." We should draw a law that gets voted in by the populace, and if we get 90% voting from the populace of the Americans that there should be no billionaires, then we have to make a law where as soon as somebody makes $1 billion, all of their money beyond that, all of the money that they make has to go into the government. The government gets to spend it on a government program chosen by the billionaire or onto charity that the billionaire designated. But the billionaire can't have any personal connections to the charity. And it has to be an actual charity. Now, this is going to do well because if you chop off all the money, the extra money that the billionaires make, and you throw it into circulation, you're stimulating the economy by billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Maybe I'll do the tally, and I'll write it down in the comment section below exactly how many billions of dollars that you're going to get if you make all of the America's 397 billionaires just so that they only have $1 billion. Now, what the goodness of that is that we're throwing all that money into circulation, which kickstarts the economy. When you get money into circulation, they're not sitting on this nest egg, because money is an actual thing that you can use to do stuff. And that's one of the problems that we have with the society or the economy these days is there's all this money just sitting around not doing anything. You got to get the money circulating. And that's a whole lot of money to circulate if you take that money off of those people. $1,000 million is enough money for anybody to have. If they make more than that, it's dangerous. It is very dangerous. It is more dangerous to our national security than any Al-Qaeda Taliban. Forget about the Al-Qaeda Taliban, dude. Worry about the billionaire American. Because money is power. I mean, anybody who's seen a James Bond movie knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You could build a little city underneath the ocean with $1 billion. You could have your whole army of people. You could do all sorts of crazy shit. I think all of the dangerous stuff that's going on in the world as far as chemtrails and just different tactics to try to kill people. Maybe, even if it's like poisoning, trying to genetically modify corn to make everybody sterile or anything like this. This kind of stuff is very possible with billionaires. I mean, forget about the government. You don't need these billionaires have more money than the government. The government's broke. The government doesn't have any money. Worry about the billionaire with all that extra money. And a lot of these billionaires, they're rich because they happen to be at the right place at the right time. Jeff Bezos happened to be out there selling stuff on the internet, and then he used the power to sell all this other stuff. Next thing you know, he's like the 5th richest person in America. Mark Zuckerberg, $17 billion that kid has. Just because he made like the social networking site that ended up becoming the social networking site that everybody used. Doesn't mean that he's like the smartest dude ever. He's just was in the right place at the right time. And I don't think that Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg are bad people, even though I think that there are some billionaires who are bad people, or at least multimillionaires. I don't think there are some of them. I think they're pretty cool. But if they did want to cause problems, they have lots of money. They could cause problems. And I think these people who do the crop circle spraying, even though I think somebody said in that movie, that documentary Thrive, that it was it was under the name of the Department of Homeland Security. Even if it is under the auspices of the department of the government or something, the government, that would be the government that's owned by the corporation in the first place, by the billionaire in the first place. we need to curtail. That's the whole purpose of government. That's why we have government. It's to protect the rights of individual citizens of that country. And so, if you're going to protect the right of the citizens of the country, you need to curtail the power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you have, and having billions and billions of dollars is basically the same thing as being an absolute dictator of a country. You have a certain chunk of the GDP to create crop circle spray to pesticide to kill all of the, or what do you call it, chemtrail, kill all the people in a certain area you don't like. You know, you could get away with doing that stuff if you have that much money. So that's the other reason we need to curtail these people. They just don't have the power to do that if they decided they wanted to. Now, some arguments of why you wouldn't want, why that would be a bad idea. Somebody might say, but it would, they wouldn't have the motivation to run as good of an enterprise. Capitalism, their company wouldn't be as good, because then they would get up to almost $1 billion and then they would be a crappy company. Well, if that happens, you would just go and use their competitor. That's the whole idea of having different competing companies for the same thing. And when somebody gets to $1 billion, they're a really good business person, and I don't think money is really the motivation anyway. If you listen to these billionaires talk about money, they're always like, I don't care about money, I just like my job. And I think that's true with a lot of them. They just like their job, and they just happen to make a lot of money. And now they're sitting on all this money, and they just don't want to spend it because then they don't want to give too much of it away. Even though a lot of them are giving a lot of it away. Bill Gates has pledged to give away half of his money as well, and he's gotten signed a whole bunch of other billionaires away to join the thing where they give away half their money. He's within 10 years of his death, he's going to have his foundation give away all of his money, and he's not going to give any of it to his children. And if more billionaires, the problem is that billionaires aren't like Bill Gates. A lot of them like to hang on to their money, and a lot of them like to do dangerous stuff. And so we should make a law that's passed by people. It has to be something that the people, I don't know how laws get passed, but we should figure out a way to pass a law where there should be no billionaires in America, because we could be throwing all that money back into circulation and get it into the charities and then pump it back into the people and kickstart some new industries that we need to get going, like solar, or maybe even this free energy stuff. If any of these super scientists who have the free energy device have the balls to actually, here it is. If any free energy people have anything, give it to me and I'll come out to the world with it. But we already have free energy, by the way. If we just invested in that, we'd be fine. There's that little thing that it's powering all of Silicon Valley. It feeds off of dirt. The what's that thing called? Oh, I can't even remember. Fuck. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, so it's going to be in houses pretty soon. In 5 years, we're all going to have the free energy. So, but until then, to get all that kickstarted, we need to get the money off the billionaires and make them so they're not so dangerous. So that's the law that I propose. There should be no billionaires. Let's get it passed. Let's have us all vote on it. 90% says yes. No more billionaires.